It is time to release the dreaded top 10 movies of 2023, in my opinion. Sorry it's taken this long. I don't usually like to wait this long to release my top 10 list, but honestly, I just needed time to kind of think things over and to rewatch some movies. As of today, I have seen 152 movies that I consider to be 2023 releases. Insane, and I am almost embarrassed to admit how much time I've spent thinking on this top 10 list. I have been making changes literally up to the second that I just hit record, but I feel good enough now to release it. And as with every year, you can see my entire list from number 1 to 152 on Letterboxd. Here's my handle or link in the description. But let me just preface my thinking here, because this year, more than ever, I have really struggled with favorite versus best. I usually don't struggle with that at all. For example, if this year I like Kung Fu Panda 4, if I find that movie more enjoyable than Nosferatu, which I am sure will be a better made movie than Kung Fu Panda 4, I will still rank Kung Fu Panda 4 higher than Nosferatu, right? Like, I don't have a problem with that. But for some reason this year, I really struggled with that distinction. But I think I've come to a good place now. And as of today, it is the last day to enter the giveaway. A lot of people have already entered. Thank you so much for all the participation. And because there is such a high turnout, if you don't win, and I'll let you all know when I contact the winners or whatever, not yet, I will be doing another giveaway very soon. So once again, stay tuned to this channel and my Instagram. Okay, let's get to some honorable mentions really quickly. Let me blast through them before I get to my number 10. In no particular order, here are my honorable mentions. Poor Things, Emma Stone, Arizona's Own. The Killer, David Fincher, do not miss. Godzilla -1, that shit tore my ass cheeks apart in the theater. Bottoms, I'm still laughing from it. Blackberry, I'm from Waterloo. Priscilla, 2 times better than Elvis. Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget, Nugget Hive will never die. Rye Lane, awesome movie. Air, shut up please, thank you so much. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I'm still crying over a raccoon. Talk to Me, my favorite horror movie of the year. Wonka, I'm still feeling things, it is magical. The Zone of Interest, I love this movie, but honestly, it makes me feel like shit, couldn't get in the top 10. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Tom Cruise, Be Flying, he makes me feel like I'm flying. And Beyond Utopia, the best documentary I've seen this year. I have reviews up for most of the movies in my top 10, so if you want to know like longer thoughts, you can probably find on my channel. But let's start with number 10, John Wick Chapter 4. This movie is just a juggernaut, and that's as simple as I can put it. While I love action movies, there are some where the action just gets too much and it's just berating my senses, and I eventually just kind of lose interest in it. And I was worried that John Wick Chapter 4, especially with its long runtime, would do that. And instead, I was just fully ascending. I think they absolutely leveled up. This has some of the best scenes of the year. It's a movie that hasn't left my mind since I saw it. I think it is one of the best action movies I've seen in several years. And if this is the last John Wick movie, I'm glad they went out like this, because this movie fucking rips. So John Wick Chapter 4 starts off the list at 10. Let's just move to number 9, Anatomy of a Fall. Now, you will find in my top 10, actually, let me just say this here, that it kind of matches the Best Picture nominees. There's a lot of overlap, which I don't love, but I think that just speaks to the kind of year this was, where just a lot of the good movies, honestly, were recognized. So shout out. But yeah, Anatomy of a Fall, I saw it at TIFF. I said there's no chance this movie's leaving my top 10, and while it got close, this movie is in my top 10. I absolutely love a courtroom drama. It is one of my favorite little subgenres of movies. I find every aspect of it completely gripping and enthralling, and I can even get on board with some bad courtroom dramas. So imagine how I felt watching Anatomy of a Fall, especially at TIFF, at that premiere. It was great. Sandra Hüller might give my favorite performance of the year. Milo Machado Graner is a child, and he has more talent in his pinky than I do in my whole body. So that makes me feel good about myself as well. Plus, it starts off with like a 50 Cent instrumental. Come on. So Anatomy of a Fall is at number 9. Let's go to number 8, The Holdovers. While Alexander Payne doesn't like people saying this movie is cozy, this movie just absolutely is cozy. There's no other way to put it. I just love this movie. I loved the vibe when I saw it at TIFF. I love the screenplay. I think the performances are some of the strongest of the year. I love its take on grief and loneliness and people just trying to connect. I really resonate with that. Not that I'm lonely, because I'm not, but like, you know what I mean. I've loved Paul Giamatti ever since I saw him in Big Fat Liar, and I'm so glad to say that my love for him has stayed and has only grown with this performance here. I absolutely love this movie. I hope to see it every single Christmas. It is amazing. It hits me right in the feels. It slides cleanly in at number 8. Moving on to number 7, Monster. This is a movie that I actually haven't really talked about on this channel. I didn't get a chance to review it when I saw it at TIFF, but let me just say, and obviously since it's here, This movie kind of blew me away. And I know it's directed by Koreeda, who did Shoplifters and Broker, two very good movies, especially Shoplifters in that case. So I should have expected that, but for some reason, I felt like the reception on this movie was a little bit muted. So I went in with just moderate expectations. I expected a good movie, and I got one of the best screenplays of the year. The structure of this movie is so fascinating to me, and it's so expertly well done. The performances from across the board as an ensemble are amazing. The kid actors are awesome. It kind of broke my heart. It kind of put it back together again. I know that's a cliche saying, but that is kind of what this movie did. I know this movie isn't talked about really at all because it wasn't picked for Japan's selection for the international film at the Oscars, and that's a bummer. But I really encourage people to seek this movie out. I think it can really touch some people. So that is a recommendation on Monster, one of my favorite movies of the year. That is number 7. To number 6, Killers of the Flower Moon. Killers of the Flower Moon has just stayed with me so much. It is so powerful, and I absolutely love the ending. The performances are all amazing. Leonardo DiCaprio, I fear we are starting to take him for granted with his performances. Lily Gladstone, one of my favorite performances of the year. Robert De Niro is the most evil son of a bitch in this movie I've ever seen, just so casually evil. The way violence is portrayed in this movie, everything works about it, and it feels so epic in scale. Because it is. And then it goes with that ending that you cannot stop thinking about. And Killers of the Flower Moon just worked for me. Plain and simple, it just worked for me. I saw it again, and it worked for me even better that time. And if I watch it again, I'm sure it would work even more, because that's the kind of movie this is. This is an absolute beast of a movie. That goes in at number 6. Let's go to the top 5. Barbie. This is the movie that I was referring to when I talked about favorite versus best, because I have no problem saying Barbie is hands down, no question, the best time I've had at a theater. Not only when it was time to dress up in pink with all my friends, but even at the press screening, I was having a fucking blast. And I know this movie is at a weird spot right now with the Oscar nominations and snubs, and people are talking about it. It's a discourse. Fucking Hillary Clinton tweeted about it. It makes me nauseous. So all I'm going to say is this. I think this is the best possible version we could have gotten for a Barbie movie. I loved every second of it. I thought it was genuinely funny, smart. I did not think it had to go that hard. When it had the montage at the end, I was like, there is no other director that would have done it like that. I just do not believe any other director would have handled this movie like that. It would have been just a straight up commercial with any other director. And I know Barbie brings out a lot of strong opinions from people who hate it, from people who love it. I obviously love it, but I'm also not clinically insane. So let's just all take a breath. And I hate to say it, but now I'm just like never going to talk about Barbie. I'm just going to silently enjoy it with myself, with my friends. I love Barbie. It is awesome. Ryan Gosling killed it. Margot Robbie is awesome. The ensemble is great. And that is all I have to say about Barbie. Good movie, okay? Good movie. I love it. Sliding in right there. Let's move to number 4, Past Lives. I don't know what people expected, but I feel like this might come as a surprise to some people, like a little bit low, especially how much I like gas up Past Lives. When it gets to the end, and it is that cathartic release, then you start thinking about everything you just saw from the beginning, and you realize what a masterpiece Past Lives is. I still think about those lines of dialogues that are said at the bar, or with them two in the bed, or at the end. I still think about it. It has some of the best performances of the year. So subtle, and I'm very sad that the Oscars didn't recognize it, but that isn't a barometer on quality. But Past Lives is a movie that premiered in January at Sundance, became so many people's like one of their favorite movies of the year, and for so many of those people, it has stayed there, including myself. Past Lives at number 4. Amazing movie. Go to number 3, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Listen, this movie's been talked about to death already, so I don't really have too much to add. All I have to say is I genuinely didn't know animated movies could be like that. I did not know animated movies could be like that. It is truly an artistic achievement. And I know people throw out the word achievement with movies all the time, and that's fair or not. I truly believe this movie is an achievement because while I liked the first Spider-Verse, I also wasn't like had a hard-on for it. You know, I didn't have a hard-on for it like so many other people did. This movie, yeah, bricked up. The movie is beautiful. Every frame, a painting. The voice acting is great. The characters are awesome. Some that you care for. The voice acting is there. The action is there. It's gripping. It's thrilling. And I cannot wait for Beyond the Spider-Verse whenever that comes out. Please take your time. Don't overwork your animators like you did on that one. Trust me, we can wait a little bit. But Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse in at number 3, moved to number 2, May, December. This was really tough. I really thought about putting this at number 1 because to me, plain and simple, yes, the script is amazing. This has absolutely hands down the best written characters of the year. They are so complex. They're so interesting. They're so layered completely. I get why some people are turned off by this movie. I really do. The subject matter is so gross and disturbing, and the tone it takes with that subject matter, it can really turn some people off. I understand. I found this movie completely encapsulating. Has obviously some of the best performance of the year. I've realized I'm saying that a lot here, but I really do mean it. Obviously, Charles Mullen's been talked about, but Natalie Portman and Julianne Moore, just the trio, my God, so good. This is a movie that I haven't really stopped thinking about. It was truly a contender for my number 1 movie of the year, and maybe if I saw it again, I would bump it there. But for now, May, December in at number 2. What a film. And at number 1, Oppenheimer. I know for a lot of people that's a boring pick, and that's like, oh, okay, well, that's expected. But for me, it really wasn't. I first saw Oppenheimer, I gave it 4 stars. I rewatched it again, I gave it 4.5 stars. It was comfortably in my 10, but it was towards the bottom. I rewatched it in IMAX on 70mm, which I actually saw it that way before, so it's not like that was my first time seeing it in 70mm or whatever. But for whatever reason, this third watch, everything clicked for me. Full body chills every 15 minutes. The performances, I mean, I already loved Cillian Murphy, but the performances from the whole ensemble worked even more, and that includes Robert Downey Jr., who I know I've been a bit like, kind of so-so on during this awards season. Everything about it clicked for me. The score is amazing. The Trinity test, you just cannot forget. The scene that follows the Trinity test, amazing. This is a movie that will just go down in history. That simple. When we look back on this year, we will think about Barbie and we will think about Oppenheimer. And if Oppenheimer does go on to sweep the Oscars like so many people think it will, it'll be justified because I think it is completely deserved. Oppenheimer is my number 1 movie of the year. Take a look at my top 10. Weird choices, I guess, but a lot of Best Picture nominees. I don't love matching that, like I said, but sometimes you can't help it. Let me know what your top 10 movies of the year are in the comments below. And I know some people were asking, where are the Film Drunk Awards? Where are they? They are coming. They are coming. I have narrowed it down to the nominees. I just have to actually make the video now. Thank you all for the support on the last few videos and the last live streams. I really do appreciate it. I see you all. I appreciate it so much. I love you all. Once again, links are in the description, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.